They just keep churning these out, don't they? First, there was the Moto G Stylus for 2020, which I loved. It was my budget phone of the year. Then there was the oddly spec'd Moto G Stylus for early 2021. Then they came out with the completely different, in the middle of 2021, with the Moto G Stylus 5G, and I don't know where that falls in the alternate timeline. The MCU, of course I mean the Moto Cinematic Universe. And then there's this guy, the Moto G Stylus for 2022. Which I think is the most intriguing of them all. We'll talk about it today on this edition of Steve Licious Tech. Hey, what's up to all my Licious fans? Steve Licious here with the Moto G Stylus for 2022. An incredibly interesting device. One of the things I was worried about when I saw the 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which I was excited about. I saw that they were going to 90 hertz, which I had a question about. And then I saw that they were moving chips. So this is the first one to not have a Snapdragon in it. The first two, I believe, had Snapdragon 600 series processors, and the 5G had a Snapdragon 480 for that 5G modem. This one is running a MediaTek Helio G88, I believe, processor. And I gotta say, out of the box, first day, so it hasn't even had a chance to adapt to what I'm doing it and all the rest of it. Over 90% brightness with the 90 hertz refresh rate locked on the screen. Now, LCD, I understand, but just comparing it to the other ones, over 7 hours of screen on time, which is fantastic because one of the hallmarks of the G Stylus devices has become that battery life, especially with the bar that the Stylus 5G set. That was the best experience on a phone battery life-wise, I think on Android. It was incredible. 8 hours, 9 hours, and if you dial this back, the brightness back a little bit, and you lock it at 60 hertz, I can absolutely see you getting similar battery life to the 5G, if that's something that you're concerned about. But all-day battery life for sure. It needs it because it's a slow charger. So don't think you're going to bring this thing out at 50% and top it off in an hour. It's a slow charging phone. So charge it up at night and you'll be good for the entire day. And it doesn't sacrifice performance to get you to that. I think this device is snappier and a better performer than the Snapdragon 480. So for $300, $299, you're getting something that is absolutely solid. And that really has become the hallmark of the Moto devices. They do such a nice job with their hardware and the software and just keeping it running and doing the things that you want it to do for less. So you're not getting a lot of the flashy features, even though they give you one, the 90 hertz, which is great. I love that it came down to this price point, the 90 hertz display. But not a lot of the other bells and whistles that take away from a solid performance. So you're going to be able to run Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube I was watching, TikTok, no problem, Facebook, Pokemon Go. Yes, there will be in the full review next week, Genshin Impact. Oh, you guys get your waifus ready. eBay, like anything you want to do on this, you're going to have zero issue doing it and doing it well. So the G88 processor is more than capable of handling all those tasks that you'd have on a daily basis. Is it going to do the more higher processor intensive stuff? And is it going to give you a million frames on certain things? No, it's not. But you're paying $299 for a phone that's going to do 95+% of the daily tasks that your flagships at over 1,000 are going to do. And you're getting 7 hours of screen on time, which so far, unless you have an iPhone, is pretty much unmatched when you're getting into the flagship tier devices. Now, some of the Pixels get up there, but this is really one of the better battery experiences you're going to have on Android. And I don't think you're sacrificing a whole heck of a lot in the performance department. So let's talk about that screen. Better than the G Stylus 5G screen. A bit brighter, which I like. The colors are a bit better, a little punchier, which I like as well. Plus, you get that 90 hertz on a nice flat panel. Samsung, when you have a pen phone, okay, you'd made your other non-pen phones flat, which is nice, good job. But when you have a pen phone, you want to be able to use the entire surface area. You don't want it falling off the edge when you're trying to highlight something on the edge of the phone. So it's nice to have a flat surface to write on when you have a pen phone. So it's a beautiful, gorgeous, flat display, 1080p with that 90 hertz, which works great. It gives you the option to lock it, so you're not in a situation where it's 60 hertz or it's adaptive. You could say 60 hertz, you could say adaptive, you could say 60 hertz, or you could say 90 hertz, which is great. I love locking devices at the full refresh rate and still getting that kind of battery life. So you're going to enjoy the screen, I think, a heck of a lot more than you have on any of the Moto G Stylus devices that have come before. Build quality, and this is something that that Moto has done really well here with plastic. It's plastic, yes. But over the years and the few iterations we've had of the Moto G Stylus, this is the best one feel-wise. So they've really done a great job of, even though the side is plastic, the frame is plastic, and the back is plastic, it's got a great weight to it. And the plastic on the side does not feel cheap. There are plenty of phones that have plastic frames that feel like $10 phones. The OnePlus 9 was one of them. The phone itself was fantastic. But for some reason, that plastic frame that they used on the side of the OnePlus 9 was horrible. It made it feel like a toy. This is nice, solid plastic. I love the way that they've squared it off just a little bit to help with the feel in the hand, but keep it rounded on the back. It does feel better in the hand than the Stylus 5G, if that's something that you were curious about. Let's talk about the pen, because that's what you're here for with a phone like this. I do believe that the other pens are better. I do like the fact that they kept the aluminum, or whatever this is, kind of a metal pen. I do like the fact that they've kept it where you can put it back in the silo in any orientation. So there's not any one direction that you could put it in. The latency is about the same. Look, it's not 2 milliseconds, but you're going to get the job done. And for 90%, maybe even 95% of what you're going to use a pen for in a pen phone, I'm looking at you again with the Samsung S22 Ultra. The air gestures and all the rest of it and the Bluetooth stuff is nice, but let's be honest. You buy a pen phone, what is it? Circle stuff, point to stuff on memes, sign stuff, kind of do the lulls for your friends on stuff like that. That's what you're going to use it for. And it absolutely is responsive. It feels nice. It's got a good weight to it. It's long enough where you can feel like you can manipulate it like a real pen in your hand. It's enough. It's absolutely enough of what you want to do with a pen in a pen phone, that you're getting enough of that feel. The only complaint I have about it really is this tip of the pen. It's a little cheap. Unlike the other ones that were fairly robust, this one feels like eventually it might break. Like it's really that kind of flimsy. It's like a cheap toy type thing. So pulling that out and putting it back in, you may eventually down the road have difficulties, but thankfully that's just the pen. And because it's not Bluetooth or anything like that, I would guess that replacements would be cheap. Camera, 50 megapixels, not the greatest camera in the world, but again, for $299, you could do a heck of a lot worse. In good light, decent lighting, it's going to be more than a representative image. It's going to be a pretty good image. We'll show a couple of those here. The one thing I did notice that we'll test in the week-long review is that if you have kind of medium to low light, it does have a tendency to blow out the back of an image. So when it finds any sort of source of light or different color, if you're focusing on something darker and the background is lighter, it'll blow out the background. It'll blow out whatever the source of light or the lighter color is on the image. So you kind of have to be careful and go to the settings and manipulate how you want to take the image. But for regular point and shoot, outside, nice day, even with decent lighting around, you're going to be just fine. We'll show some of those images. Still just the single bottom firing speaker, which I know a lot of people complained about on basically all the Moto G Styluses at this point. It's better than the Moto G Stylus 5G. It doesn't blow out as much at the upper end. If you really crank up the volume, it kind of keeps the integrity at least a little bit better than the 5G did, but it still is just a single bottom firing speaker. But you do have a headphone jack, which is nice. They keep the headphone jack on there on the device. And I think even a notification LED in there as well. I saw when it was charging it in the speaker grill there. And for phone calls, the quality is fantastic. The speaker works just fine. Overall, listen, it's impressions. We're gonna do the full week. We're gonna have the whole thing, gaming, all the rest of it. But again, Moto really has solidified itself as that mid-tier champion, especially here in the United States, where we don't have a lot of the overseas China brands that are cheaper with the higher specs and all the rest of it. Moto just does a great job of coming in there and providing a solid device, nothing flashy, but it'll do more than the job. It'd be really a really nice performance. This is mid-tier performance, really. When you use it for 95% of the things you're going to use it for, it's mid-tier performance. You're going to get really smooth experience, which I think is key, for $299. And we talk about the Samsung deals and go crazy over that. Moto depending on which carrier you have, has fantastic deals. I think AT&T even, which is not the greatest in the world, was offering the G Stylus, the 5G version, for like $5 a month. Boost or Metro usually have these for dirt cheap. Try to get the 6 gig of RAM one if you can. I do think that makes a difference. Oh, expandable storage, by the way, micro USB, even though it's a micro SD rather. I'm sorry, even though it's only 128 gigs of storage, but you do have that expandable memory in there. But try to get it on a deal. These carrier deals, like I said, the Boosts and the Metros of the world, give these things away. You get them $100, $50 with whatever it is. But fantastic, really fantastic. I always love hearing in the comment section people picking them up for different prices. But so far, 24 hours has been good. Battery life and performance are what I was worried about with that 90 hertz refresh rate and the MediaTek moving to the MediaTek processor. So far, so good. We'll do the whole week. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.